what's up? You'll have to bear with me. Larry is coming downstairs. He's gonna read to me all the things that you're saying. You walk away for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We got somebody.
You got somebody?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, welcome to my kitchen, John. It's a lot bigger than it looks right now. John?
John who?
Eustache.
Oh.
All the way from Washington. So what we're making tonight is honey mustard grilled chicken. I have made a special mustard because Steve doesn't like honey mustard and I'm cooking for other people, but mostly it'll be honey mustard.
PoleChef, it's PoleChef. This is an intro for PoleChef.
Maybe I could pay somebody to write me a jingle.
You just did.
I didn't pay you though.
Well, then you're going to get on it.
I pay you in food.
There.
Why do you keep leaving?
I'm working on something.
While you're working on something, there. All right. So, yeah. I'm just gonna come in here real quick. What's up, guys? Well, I hope Bumble works out for you. We just got a purple mattress. I worked from home today thinking that I was gonna meet the guys to drop it off and they were gonna set it up for me. They did not. Apparently you only get that if you get like the new version of the mattress, and I got the original version, so I had to lug what felt like probably about 3 dead bodies worth of weight around my room, but it is comfy as fuck. Definitely worth the investment. So far, I'll give it a couple of weeks before I give it the final say, but so far so good.
Rickard Embry says, tell him to get with the program in regards to that mustard.
Get with the... Oh, Steve? Yeah. I don't know. Well, it's funny though because Larry doesn't like regular mustard. Steve doesn't like honey mustard, and I like both, so always have to accommodate somebody. Okay, so first things first, this recipe actually calls for a grill or a grill pan, neither of which we have. So I am actually going to, it's for the broccoli, we're supposed to char it so it gets some of that like black stuff on there. I'm actually going to broil it on low in the oven for a couple of minutes to give it the same kind of feel without a grill. Otherwise we'd be having an outdoor episode, which maybe we'll do earlier in the year when it doesn't get dark so quickly. For now, I have to cut up all of this broccoli.
All of this broccoli.
All of this broccoli. I'm going to toss it with olive oil, salt, pepper, and I'm gonna stick it on a pan, and I'm gonna not put it in the oven until the chicken is done because it only has to go for a couple of minutes and I don't want to burn it. So we're gonna start with that. There's like a literal fuck ton of oil. I always toss the vegetables in a bowl first and then put it onto like a baking sheet or a rack or something that has been sprayed with nonstick spray. I use the olive oil spray because I love it in a recipe when they tell you to put something, like it's usually veggies, on a baking sheet and then cover it in salt and pepper and then olive oil and then toss it like in the baking sheet, and that has never once ever ended well for me. So bowl, toss, then onto pan. It took me a couple of tries and fails before I kind of figured out that I needed to do something different. Okay, so these are gonna go on the pan. And I know you guys can't see me over here yet, but I'll show you when I get over to stove cam what that looks like. Basically, I just put them down onto what is like a cookie tray. It's like a grid thing with little feet on it, so it holds it slightly off of the pan so the air circulation gets underneath it as well. But I put them all in one layer so they're not crowding each other. Don't want that. So next. Wow, it's going to be a really short episode. Okay. I take that back. They're going into the oven because I have to cut them up later. So, into the oven they go. I'm going to go for like 5 minutes. Not that long. And because I'm broiling, I didn't really have to preheat it for that long. So, I'm going to set my fancy mushroom timer to 5 minutes. I'll let that sit. So next we're gonna make sauce. So small bowl, we're gonna make the honey mustard. So I have already taken the liberty of setting aside some special sauce for the special one. That is basically spicy brown mustard, a little bit of salt and pepper, and some olive oil, and just like whisked it up real good. It's gonna be the glaze for the chicken. And then I'm now going to make the honey mustard, which will go on the rest of the chicken. You need to make sure I have everything. Oil, salt, pepper, mustard. Cool. So, to the side. I need a whisk. Whisk. Okay. So this is whole grain mustard, which is actually one of my favorites. I like regular yellow mustard on things like hot dogs and stuff, but I really like whole grain mustard. I don't know why, but I do. So I'm gonna whisk this up first, and then I'm gonna add the other ingredients and continue to whisk. So, oil. And salt and pepper. Gently. There we go.
Crashman55 says, how is your evening?
What up, Crashman? Not too bad. I don't know if you missed it earlier, but we got a new mattress. I'm super excited to try that out. But other than that, well, I worked from home today, so I got to wear my pajamas all day. That was great. Super excited to do that again, ever. Alright. So, we've got our honey mustard glaze here. Gonna rinse that off, in case I need it again. Alright. Toss, done. Now, we get to do the sauce for the coleslaw. It's not really coleslaw because it's broccoli, but... So, sour cream. Oh, we gotta chop some garlic. Cool, we can do that. sour cream, garlic, water, vinegar. Okay, so vinegar, just a couple of teaspoons, not a whole lot, just to give it some acidity. Coleslaw usually comes with an oil of some kind and some sort of acid like lemon juice or vinegar of some kind. Water, sugar, which I have a little bit of here. I've noticed with Dinnerly that sometimes it asks you to use ingredients that aren't actually in the box, which I understand has kind of the opposite point of getting a subscription box, but at the same time the kind of stuff that they ask you to have is like kind of stuff most people have in a reasonably well-stocked kitchen, like flour or sugar or something like that. But also they will post up the recipes that you have to choose from each week quite a while in advance, so you have time to look at recipes and go, oh, okay, this one needs apple cider vinegar, it doesn't come in the box, so I'm gonna go make a grocery run between now and the 2 or 3 weeks when I get the box. So it definitely gives you some flexibility and time to prepare, but occasionally I'll catch myself off guard if I don't read the recipe ahead of time. Always read the recipe ahead of time, and I'll come up short because I didn't realize I didn't have something. But that also leaves you room for improv and deviating from the recipe, which I tell people never to do, but I do all the time. So. Okay. Okay. Garlic. Okay. Cool. I'm just trying to read ahead in my recipe. All right. So if you don't feel like chopping, whoa. If you don't feel like actually chopping garlic or mincing it, you can use a garlic press. It's totally fine. I have taught myself how to chop garlic, and I'm happy to teach anybody how to do so when maybe we have a camera that can get it a little bit closer, or we have an episode where I just teach you how to do shit. That'll be one of those special requests that subscribers can help me with. But this is the most epic of garlic presses, and it is Steve's, and I love it so, so much because it is a fucking beast. And super easy to clean. It's got these little spiky, pokey things that come through the holes and let you push out the garlic stuff that's inside it, so it's not such a pain in the ass to clean. Okay. Garlic, water, oil, salt, pepper, a little bit of water. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Salt, pepper. How are we doing?
Nobody's talking.
Talk to me, guys. I'm bored. Ask me things. What do you guys want to know? Give me shit you want to know.
Anything.
Literally doesn't have to be kitchen shit. It could be literally anything. Cool. Okay, so this is the dressing for the slaw. That's done. So now we get to go to stove cam because we're making chicken. So the first thing I'm going to do actually before I stick the chicken on there is, so it came with 4 chicken breasts, which are pitiful in my opinion, but I'm also learning that portions are a thing, so maybe they did it on purpose. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to salt and pepper both sides of the chicken breast, and then we'll go over to the stove. Whenever you get your meats, always make sure, with chicken, I mean, I always kind of rinse them off in really cold water so that I don't like cook it with the hot temperature of the water, but that's mostly because I don't like all the fucking slime that comes on chicken when it's prepackaged. Not a fan.
Got a couple questions.
Yes, questions.
Richard Embry says, if you could play a chef in a LARP, would you?
That's so cute that you asked that. So, fun fact, at a LARP that I used to play at, I did in fact play a chef. She was a life caster, basically a healer, who was modeled after the trolley witch from Harry Potter. The one with all of like the pastries and the cookies and candy and shit that would come around, anything from the trolley deers, that whole thing. And her shtick, her name was Natasha, she had this whole thing where she would imbue, so it was like part magic, part alchemy. She would imbue like different food properties with like alchemical shit. So like I would make chocolate chip cookies and then I would give them to people and they would eat them, and when they ate them it like healed them a little bit. So I really leaned into that a whole lot for a bit. So that's really ironic that you asked that, because I definitely did do that.
Dak Hayden asks, what is this being recorded with?
My phone, of all fucking things. Eventually, I will be able to get like a legit camera. I would like one here on the prep station and then one over the stove at the same time, which would be super cool. But you bitch ain't got that kind of money. So subscribe, and follow, and maybe eventually I'll be able to get 2 cameras and we'll be super fancy.
Crashman55 says, what is the drink of choice tonight?
Drink of choice tonight is the same as it was last night because I'm a predictable human being. It is Blue Moon Mango Wheat because it's the last one out of the box. We had exactly enough plus 1, so I decided to yoink it. Okay, so I'm gonna check on the broccoli real quick because it has been over 5 minutes. Not burned, not yet. So I put it on broil on low so I could leave it in for a little bit longer so we have time to make the chicken, and then we'll go back to the broccoli. So we're gonna move over to stove. Yeah, so you guys won't see as much of my beautiful face, but that's fine. So with the chicken, we're gonna heat this up to like just under medium high, like medium-ish. And we're gonna put some oil in the pan. When I am doing dressings, I usually like to use extra virgin olive oil because it's got a little bit more body, a little bit more flavor. If I'm cooking meat, because olive oil has a very low smoke point, if I'm cooking meat, I actually found this stuff at Costco. It's a Mediterranean blend, so it's like a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of canola oil, grapeseed oil. It's like a blend of stuff, but it's neutral enough that it doesn't smoke at the same level as olive oil does. So extra virgin olive oil for dressings, and then like a lighter oil. There is a lighter version of olive oil that you can use, but it's still a little bit too low of a smoke point for me. So something lighter for like sauteing stuff or frying things. And I do have a whole thing of vegetable oil specifically for frying things because I have yet to find a better oil that can get that really nice golden crispy edge without burning it. So we'll do that. That's heating up nicely. Cool. Well, I'm waiting for that to heat up. I'm gonna pop you guys up here for a bit so you watch me drink. Let's see. What you guys doing? Yeah, slimy chicken is disgusting. Steak, don't have that problem. Pork, not really. But chicken always seems to be fucking slimy, and I don't know why. Maybe there's a scientific reason. I would love to know. Yes, yeah. So Natasha, that was my chef character. I loved playing her, honestly. Part of the reason that we stopped was because the LARP itself ended. And I didn't really have the time or the energy to go back anymore. But if I did, I would probably create a character very similar. Who's drinking what? 3-notch ooh, you had me at passion fruit. That sounds fucking delicious. Angry Orchard also sounds delicious. There was, who was it? Somebody told me, I think it was back when I was in college, back when Fireball became really, really big for no apparent reason. People were doing these bombs, like you do a Jaeger bomb with Red Bull and Jägermeister, except it was Fireball and apple cider, and they called it an Angry Balls. And I didn't want to like it, but it was really good. But I had a really bitchin' hangover the next day because of all the fucking sugar. But it's definitely worth trying at least once just to say you did. Chicken lime tortilla soup. Oh, that sounds fucking delicious. We should do a soup episode.
I like soup.
I like soup. We're a very soup positive house. Okay, so I'm gonna test to see if this is at all ready. Yeah, so I'm just flicking some of the dressing liquid at the pan, see if it sizzles. It did, so we're gonna go back to the pan and we're gonna stick in our chicken. So sometimes you can leave the oil in to heat up with the pan. If it's got a high enough smoke point, it won't start smoking before you stick the chicken in, which is usually what contributes to burning the meat, which is no bueno. So I'm just gonna put this around. I'm gonna stick in our chicken. I'll crank this up just a little bit. So I can see it kind of bubbling. It's not sizzling loud enough for me. So I'm gonna leave it in there for a minute until I hear it sizzle more, and then I'll add the rest of the chicken. So you just can just stare at a chicken cutlet for a couple minutes. Super interesting. I'm just kidding, I wouldn't do that to you guys. Angry Orchard cinnamon. Oh goodness. Yeah, okay. No, that's fair. Tastes like Christmas. It is not Christmas, and therefore don't do that. It is Oktoberfest season now. I don't give a shit if it's still summer. It is now spoop beer season. Hey, that's fan-fucking-tastic. Buy lots of food, you'll learn different tastes. So as you try new things, you'll find that you can tolerate stuff you couldn't before. There are a lot of foods that I used to hate when I was a kid because, well, I ate like shit a lot, especially in college because I had no money for food or fancy groceries or a kitchen, actually, come to think of it. But as an adult, now I have money to buy actual groceries, and I'm learning that I like a whole lot more shit than I thought I did. All right, back stove cam. So now you can actually see bubbles. So now, I get these in a pan. And because these are so thin, I'm actually not gonna cook them super long. It's just a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to glaze a couple of them with the, so I think I'm gonna do like these three with the honey mustard, and then the one in the middle with the regular spicy mustard. Anything? Switch this out, bring a different one into the middle, because the middle usually cooks a little bit faster than the rest. And this one you can see there's a lot of the white that's popping up along the edges and not very much pink on this side. So I can actually turn this over. So you can see it's all white on that side. I'm gonna leave it a little bit because I want it to kind of char up. So I'm actually gonna crank the heat. Because these are very, very thin strips, so these are gonna cook relatively quickly. So I won't have to worry about the heat. I just don't want to boil the chicken. I want to sear the chicken. Since this isn't going on a grill, I want this to have some color on one side. There's a whole lot of jumping oil happening over here. I do have a screen that I put, over my pan sometimes, but that would sort of defeat the fucking point. So we're not gonna do that this time. So. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just flip these. We're gonna turn these a couple of times because we're gonna need to glaze them. Beep. No. Slippery chicken. Yeah. Okay. So this one's got a little bit more color on it. we're gonna do that. And let those sit for a minute. And what I'm gonna do is grab a spoon. Because what it wants me to do is to brush the glaze over the chicken, but I don't have a silicone brush because I don't really use silicone brushes that much. I usually just spoon it over or spread it around. So I'm gonna take half of the spicy mustard and just kind of spread it around with the back of the spoon, and then I'm going to flip it in just a minute, and I'm going to do the other half, and I'm going to do the honey mustard on the other ones. So you can tell with the sugars and the honey, this has got a more translucent feel to it, a little more glossy, a little glassy, glazy. Nothing?
Somebody type in chat. I want to test something.
Larry wants to test something. Somebody type things. Send me messages. Alright, so now I'm going to take this down to about a medium, because I don't want to burn this shit.
Excellent. Thank you, Richard. Type.
Type. Do you want to type? Oh, Jesus. Alright. There we go. So now we got some nice fucking color on this side. Do the rest of the glaze on this, and we're going to flip it probably 1 or 2 more times just to make sure everything looks good. And I turn the heat down to closer to medium because I want this to glaze over. I don't want this to burn. And while I'm waiting for this, I'm actually going to check on the broccoli again. Yeah, okay, so we've got a nice char on the broccoli, so I'm gonna pull that out, because I still need to chop these. So this was in there for quite a few minutes, much longer than 5. But I'll tilt you guys down. You can see that there's like some brown bits and char spots on here. It's a little crispy on the edges. So I'm going to need to cut that up to go into the slaw. So I'm going to let that cool for a little bit while I finish the chicken. Okay, so I'm going to swap these out. Stick that one in the middle. So that can brown up a little bit. Try and keep these separated. So all the sugars and the glaze and stuff are starting to come together into this nice oozy bubbly goodness. Huh?
Come together right now.
On the chicken. Okay. It's starting to bubble a little bit. Yeah, now we got some fucking color on that bird. You can stay down for a bit. inch down a little bit. Okay, so that satisfies me. I'm gonna go ahead and take these off the heat and let them rest. What you definitely don't want to do is cut any meat before it's had time to rest. If you do so, then it will make all the juices flow out in not in good ways. And you will lose a lot of the tenderness. So, something I learned that I will share with you. I don't mind if this spicy mustard mixes in with our glaze a little bit. So, I am going to get a little bit of butter, and I'm going to put that into this and create kind of like a glazy pan sauce. We'll get a stick, but that's going to take too long. So, I'm going to go in here, wash off my spoon. I want a bunch of chicken shit in my spoon. No exhausted chicken. Oh, hi, Dad. What's that? So I'm just gonna put like a little bit of butter, not too much, because then I don't want to make too much sauce. Just like enough. We're just doing a glaze. So I turn the heat off, and I am going to just swirl it around. I just want the butter to melt so that it kind of creates a cohesive thing. Technical term. And I know I literally just talked about not using metal utensils on a non-stick surface, and I am just walking contradiction, so yeah. So we've got some butter and this glaze. Cool. So I'm gonna spoon some of this onto the chicken while it rests, and then we will double check on the rest of our stuff. Mushy goodness. Which will just be making the slaw, and then we'll be about done. Relatively short episode this time.
Friendly reminder to please follow us.
Please like, follow, subscribe, do all of the things, because I want to keep being able to do this. And if nobody watches my shit, I can't. I'm going to set that aside.
Previous episodes are also found at youtube.com.
Yep. So if you guys aren't already a part of my, we're going back to the board. If you guys aren't already part of my Facebook group, I will post up, oh Lord, I'm not having that. There we go. I have a Facebook group and I have a YouTube channel now. Yes. So if you missed the stream, I will post the stream on YouTube as well to watch later, because I know Twitch cuts out the number of episodes that you can have after a certain period of time. So I'll have like an ongoing archive on YouTube, and then you can catch the live channel streams here. Okay, so, still kind of hot, that's all right. So, you have a bowl. Where's my bowl? My bowl's here. Always keep track of your shit. Know where everything is. Cool. So I'm reusing the same bowl that had the broccoli in it before, because it didn't have any meat in it. I don't care if the broccoli goes in it after it's been cooked. So, what I'm gonna do is use tongs, because the broccoli's still hot. I'm just gonna stick the broccoli in this bowl. Actually false, I have to chop it. So I'm gonna stick it on this board, and then I'm gonna chop it, and then I'm gonna stick it in the bowl. It's got these nice little brown spots. I love like roasted veggies. I've become really a huge fan of just roasting veggies and just having those with stuff. Mischief managed. Exactly. Manage your mischief. Nobody likes unmanaged mischief. Well, some people do, but I'm not talking to those people, am I? You know, one thing that I did used to do back when we had a different subscription box was they had like breakfast and dessert stuff. I really wish that Dinnerly had that. I really like the simplicity of Dinnerly's boxes, but I do sometimes wish that they had like desserts or breakfast or stuff that's other than like dinner, because that would be a lot of fun to cook, I think. Okay, so it just says roughly chopped, so I'm just gonna run my knife kind of through this whole swath of fucking broccoli. Cut a swath through the forest like my ancestors. Cool. So now all this goes right into the bowl. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah! Success. Oh, one casualty. That's fine. Okay, so now this goes in with half the almonds and the dressing and salt and pepper. Cool. So half the almonds. It doesn't say to chop them up, but I'm gonna do that because I like it. Deviating from the recipe again. It's what I'm good at. That's fine. Always pays to have a good sharp knife. I do have one of the honing steels as well for... Talk to the hand. Here we go. Look, chopped almonds. I do have one of those like honing steels, the little long tubey things. Those are usually good for like maintaining a very, very fine edge in between cooking. But every so often you definitely want to invest in like a whetstone if you want to like really, if you have a really good set of knives. Definitely invest in a whetstone because you don't want to have to go out and keep buying a whole brand new fucking set of knives every time your knives get dull. It's going to get expensive and it's very unnecessary. If you have quality knives, if you don't have quality knives, then invest in quality knives first. Something nicely weighted because you want the knife to do most of the work. So if your knife is too light, then you can't really let the knife do the work. You're doing all the work and your wrists get tired. It's a whole thing. So we're gonna toss. Somebody spied you.
Huh?
Somebody spotted you.
What?
Dark Faden found you. You're not being sneaky enough.
Never mind the man behind the camera.
All right, so I'm gonna pour in some of the dressing. I'm gonna do a little bit of dressing at a time because, like I always say, you can always take stuff back, but if you put too much dressing or seasoning or stuff in, you can't take it back. But you can always add more. There we go. So we've got this like white tinted broccoli mush. This is our slaw. And that's it, guys. We're on to plating, which is my favorite part. Okay, so we are going to move all of my shit away. And while I am not going to cut up the chicken immediately, I'm going to clean my shit first. Always important to, technical term. Always important to clean your workspace. I use a 1-to-1 vinegar and water so that it's food safe. I don't want any weird chemicals in my fucking food. So, presentation plate. And I'm also gonna bring out the eating plate because I need to take a fancy picture of this later. All right.
2 eating plates.
2 eating plates, put it, okay. No, we can, no, it's, well, because I need the other one too for the later.
Uh-huh.
Because that's for me for tomorrow. Okay. Cool. So we're doing like fancy presentation, what actually happens when you eat at home, and then like meal prep version. So we've got like a whole bunch of presentation happening today. So I'm going to wash off my tongs. All right, so we're gonna put the slaw on first with a spoon, which I put somewhere. I really have my shit together today, guys. All right, so I'm just gonna, oh, well. I'm just going to pile it into the center so that there's some room on the outside.
We do shout out.
Huh?
We're going to do shout outs.
We should do shout outs.
We have shout outs. 2 shout outs today.
Go.
Dak Faden.
Hey.
And Leolite. 2 new subscribers this stream.
Fuck yeah. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. What are we up to now?
19.
19. All right.
Our goal is 50 by the end of September.
Oh my God, that's so ballsy. So we have, yeah, so we'll have, what, 4 streams September? So in the next 4 to 5 streams, I want to try and get to 50 subscribers.
25?
25? 20, I think that's 20, a little bit more manageable. So tell everyone you know, share the links, spam everyone, but in a nice way. So I decided I'm not going to do the meal prep version because there's not a whole lot of broccoli and I'm fucking hungry. So there's that. Okay, so chicken time. All right, so this spicy bitch gets to go on Steve's plate. I'm just gonna set it right next to the broccoli. And I realize also that the plate is probably way too big, but that's fine. I'm gonna do 1, and I'm actually gonna do 1.5 because the other 3 are honey mustard. So I'm just gonna do like a cross section real quick. So that way we also get to see if this bitch is cooked inside. Yeah! I know you guys can't really see it very well, but the inside of this chicken is moist and white, and that's exactly what we want. So I'm gonna stack this here. And here. Unsen chicken. So this way we can use the bottom chicken as a prop and you don't see the cut side. So we've got the way you eat at home, which is just sort of haphazardly tossed on a plate, and then the way that it looks on the internet, which is way better. And then we'll put some more almonds on the chicken and the slaw. I don't understand why they tell you to put like half the garnish on like the salad or the slaw or whatever, and then in it, and then they tell you to like garnish it with more later. I'm like, why not just mix it all in? Because it's not, doesn't look any different. It's just more on top. Cool. And we will do the requisite taste test to make sure I didn't kill anybody. Mostly that I didn't kill Larry. I will move this aside so I can take a picture of this later. That's hot. Be over here. Okay. So, grab one of my steak knives and my fork. I'll get ready. Oh, look at this. Look at this. We'll do the rotate. Look at that chicken. Look how shiny that chicken is. So shiny. So good. Even the plate's shining. Ding, ding, ding. Anime. Ah. Okay. That's enough. Alright. Cool. So now, we're going to shit a try. See how well we did. I did.
That's my chicken.
You can have the fancy chicken. Or I'll give you a bite of my chicken. Yeah, that's fucking good. It's got like this, almost like balsamic-y richness to it from the honey, which I dig. And the almonds are like a nice crunch. They're smoked and salted, or smoked and roasted almonds, specifically. That's a really nice fucking touch. That was, yeah, fucking success. It's always a crapshoot sometimes because I'm never sure if I'm gonna really like it. I like it on paper, not always when I actually make it. I deviate from the recipe a lot because I know myself and I know my own food tastes. I know Larry's food tastes, so I can adjust accordingly. If you try something and you don't like it, don't let it discourage you from trying it again. Make adjustments, learn new things, look up different ways to cook stuff. And that's probably the easiest way to learn how to eat new foods, or that's exactly how I discovered that I actually like Brussels sprouts. For a long time, you know, people thought that making Brussels sprouts was like only one way to do it. You could basically boil them or steam them, and most of the time Brussels sprouts were not as common in grocery food stores every other day than they are now, so you had to get them like frozen. And when you freeze vegetables like that are like leafy, even if they're really sturdy, the crystals from the ice change the texture and this fucking cellular structure of the vegetable. So when you cook it, even if you were to saute it in a pan after it thawed, it's still all watered down and it tastes really fucking gross. And then when I was like college age, I think, I had roasted Brussels sprouts. They were fresh Brussels sprouts. They were roasted, cut in half, roasted in an oven, covered with salt, pepper, olive oil, and Parmesan cheese. And holy fuck, I realized that I actually like Brussels sprouts. I just didn't like them cooked the way that I was used to them being cooked. So don't be afraid to try new shit. Keep trying new shit. When you try new shit, post on my Facebook wall on the PoleChef page and tell me what you think. I'll be posting pictures of this. Like, follow, subscribe, bring more subscribers. And then this video will be up on Twitch by tomorrow, or on YouTube by tomorrow. And if you guys want to see more stuff, then you know where I am.
There's a suggestion box down below. Also, thanks to the people who subscribed this time.
Thank you to everybody that subscribed this time, and thanks to those people who suggested the suggestion box. That was a great suggestion. But for now, eat well. Have a good night.